Ladies and gentlemen,
please welcome to the stage
Bounder
and CAD.
Meine Damen und Herren, Mesdames et Messieurs, ladies und gentlemen, good evening. And
good evening.
I'm Adam Drew.
I'm Guy Hayward.
Yes, you are. And together, who are we?
We are Bounder and CAD, aka the posh Anton Deck. We are very privileged
to be here. Thank you, Nigel, hosting online, because where would we have actually literally been tonight, Guy?
Actually, literally in Brasserie Zidell in Piccadilly.
What do we normally do there?
We perform a set of a show of 2 sets, 35 minutes each, roughly, and with a band of a drummer boy who's underage.
That's right.
And a double bassist and who looks underage but isn't, and
one of 2 superb pianists. And we're going to be hearing a little more from one of them very shortly. But first of all, we would like to kick off. We're going to try and keep this one brief. Sorry, everyone, for the slightly late start. I think Nigel was having a little bit of a meltdown in his characteristic way. Yes, we are, Nigel. He's texting in right now. That was that little pop. But I shall close my WhatsApp messenger for fear of further intrusion. But Guy, we're going to start with a very lively and sunny one, which is why I've worn my sunniest shirt, as I'm sure you've noticed. Can you explain to me where this began, this first number we're about to play?
Well, we both had a love for pastel colours and also French films.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one particular film, because there's this great composers, you probably know Michel Legrand, who did a beautiful film with Jacques Demy, his lyrical counterpart, called Les Demoiselles de Rochefort. And we both loved it, me and Adam.
We did. And I have as with many things, I have my mother to thank for it. She found a VHS copy in a bargain bin, I think in Poundland, Brighton, a few Christmases ago, many Christmases ago. But that's where began our great love for this wonderful film, 1967, The Young Girls of Rochefort. Do look it up. It is wonderful. And this particular song is sung by a rascally pair of carnies.
But wait, before. The stars are Catherine Deneuve and her sister.
Her real life twin sister,
Françoise
Dorliac?
Dorliac, that's it. And also Gene Kelly, no less.
There's an embarrassment for talent in this film. But Guy and I have decided unusually to graft our voices onto the moving images of this film. It is time for some dancing. This dance number is performed for us, but we have sung over the top in an English translation I wrote myself, because I think this film is underknown because it was never translated into English. This is my small way of trying to bring that into the world. I hope you enjoy. This is called Nous Voyageons, translated as We Bound Around. Roll that clip, please, Nigel.
Et vous, qu'est-ce que vous faites exactement?
We bound around, we wander free, we make our way from here to there. Without a home, without a care, we hit the road and sail the sea. We're here today, tomorrow gone, we roll along where nothing drags. Good mischief makers, scallywags, we got it going on and on. See the good over the bad, riding a high, not looking down. Love with a smile, not with a frown. Get happy and you won't be sad. We bound around, we wander free, we take a sniff of every flower, a wild world with every outfruit of the forbidden tree. We live for love, the blowing breeze, the smell of bread, the taste of wine, the golden sky, the growing vine, the dawning of a day to see. Pretty looks from some mademoiselle, a little lie down in the hay, love's sweet bud and a bitter bouquet, the little things we never tell. We bound around, we wander free, we never have tomorrow planned. A savvy damsel grabs your hand, it's any way you want to be. We're easy come, we're easy go, we play like players in a play. We may not know the lines to say, but we are putting on the show. Jump for joy and beat off the blues. Keep with the wise, not with the fools. Play by heart and not by the rules. You show your hand but never lose. We bound around, we wander free. They call us cats of ill repute. They say we're wayward, dissolute, but see a kind of poetry. Although we laugh, we often sigh. The story turns and alternates from tragedy and evil face to comedy and bright blue sky. True friends will stick till we fall. Princes of honor, daring and dash. Noble knights just without the cash, but with a solid heart of gold. We bound around, we wander free, across the world and back around. They call us bounders, but we're bound to hit the road and sail the sea. We sail the sea, across the world and back around. They call us bounders, but we're bound to hit the road and wander free.
They definitely dance better than us, I think it's fair to say. Wouldn't you agree, Guy?
Yeah. Did you see the guy who was Bernardo in West Side Story?
Yeah. But that might actually be part of my question. Ladies and gentlemen, two things I neglected to say. The reason why Guy and I weren't performing that routine just saw live is not only because we can't dance this, but because of syncing issues over the internet.
Hello, Debbie. Greetings from Georgia.
Georgia.
Income. Sorry.
Hello, hello, Terry as well. Very lovely to dialing in. And this is the other component I forgot to introduce, is that we'll be taking questions from you, our lovely listeners.
We really like hardware at Boundary and CAD.
We do, getting more and more into it day by day. And Guy and I will also ask each other questions during the course. There'll be a quiz element. So hello, everyone. Very exciting people from Georgia, from Illinois.
Durham again, Colin from Durham.
Colin from Durham, who actually asked us to think about tools. So maybe you could ask Daryl a question through us. It's anything is possible. Wow, Colin, you've grown an enormous beard. Is that you? Wow. Is that your beard?
Quite Viking. I mean, it's sort of like, it's what the Danes, Bebbanburg, I think, is from a Last Kingdom, is Bamborough, which is near Durham. So.
And hello, Anna. Now, Anna asked us, we've got a question already. And one, let's start with an audience question. What was the last thing you both had a really good belly laugh about? Well, Guy.
Well, I remember like recently, we had a big. It's probably to do with this song that you're writing or that we're doing together, isn't it?
Which one was that?
Well, this rap that we've got coming up.
Oh, it gave you a belly laugh. This is a particular moment.
No. We were chatting about it. Anyway, we can't. I don't think we can basically remember, neither of us. But we often laugh on the phone together, don't we? Like more than most of my friends, I have proper full-on laughs with Adam.
We like to laugh like that madman in, was it Mary Poppins? They all float up to the ceiling. It's very much the visual representation of our friendship. But I know I can remember, sadly, Guy wasn't there because I was watching TV in my bed alone at this time. But I laughed a lot while watching the TV series Succession. If anyone hasn't seen it, it is superb. And there's a very funny scene involving a satellite launch, which definitely made me laugh to my belly. Right. Oh, my goodness. John Lindsay is in the house. This is really thrilling. He's a very dear friend of mine from university, alongside Guy. Anyway, Guy, the quiz begins. Question number one. Actually, John has heard a preview of the rap, so he's cause to be excited. Guy, George Chakiris, how we pronounce him, as we saw in that clip we just watched, he was the one in the orange-coloured shirt, not dissimilar to this one, and the darker hair, the Guy Hayward of the pair. He was also known for what? Question part one. Question part two. And what is he known for now?
Bernardo in West Side Story, and now he's a jeweler.
That's a very concise and correct answer. Thank you very much. Yes, George Chakiris played the villainous jet Bernardo, who I think was Maria's very jealous cousin. The sort of Tybalt.
Right, yeah.
Roman Judo recasting. And Guy is bang on the money. Now he makes very pretty silver jewelry. And I've discovered that because I thought he might appreciate this English translation. These two strange 20-something-year-old boys, as we were then, had written. And I sent it to him through his jewelry site. He hasn't got back to me yet. But I'll check my spam. Guy, do you have a question for me?
I do actually have two because...
Okay.
Well, so I'm doing the same thing, but for the other wonderful dancer in Les Demoiselles Rochefort, which is Jean Kelly.
Oh,
now, What is perhaps Gene's most enduring legacy in the world of cinema and dance?
I'd venture it was the eponymous sequence in Singing in the Rain.
Okay, but in a broader sense, what does that represent? Why was that so amazing?
Because he did it on a fever?
No,
Yeah.
he invented the thing, this thing called cine dance, and basically he had to devise not only the dance choreography, but the staging of the dancers' physical movements, but also the film choreography. So the coordination of the camera movements in relation to the musical number and the action. So that
But
was
another
kind
point,
of
being,
example
being a control freak. This is slightly what that's. Absolute nightmare is what he invented.
Yeah, but okay. The better question is.
That's a good question.
When you think of moments of you tasting the fruit of the forbidden tree in your life, what springs to mind?
I've luckily got a prepared answer. The velvet apricot, which is something I recently discovered in M&S. Not that forbidden, I suppose. Actually, I bought some that was slightly out of date, so I think that's my pre-watershed answer. Thank you, Guy.
Very good.
Okay, we're going to.
Adam is Adam, so the fruit of the forbidden tree little lyric in there was attached to his sort of primal archetype nature.
Well, I wrote that and wasn't even aware, but that's why it's always nice to be in a double act, because it sends those echoes resounding. Nigel, have we any more comments? Or any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Please fire away. Is there anything you'd like to know? No. It's always a bit of a lag. Well, in that case, we can already begin to introduce clip number 2. Oh, sorry, wrong way around. Clip number.
Nice.
Clip number 2. So, Guy, you mentioned earlier our pianists. We have 2. One's called Sam, and the other's called
Ben Como. And Ben, you saw Ben in last week's show playing for the Flower Duet.
He's very. How did we discover him? It's a nice little origin story. Actually, this was all you. You found him, didn't you?
Yeah. Well,
found him in an organ loft, didn't you?
Yeah. No. He was asked to compose a piece for me in this viola da gamba player, which is basically a medieval cello.
Viola da gamba.
But you don't have that thing that points out at the end, so you have to sort of really grab it between your thighs. It's quite a sort of Xenia on.
You don't have that thing that points out the end, so you have to grab.
Anyway, he wrote a wonderful piece to a poem, which was called "The Artist's Prayer," and it was very nice, but very, very radical, far out music. Not at all like the Bounder and CAD jazz feel that he later picked up. He's kind of genius.
Ben is still pretty radical in his way, because Guy and I happen to be just chatting casually to each other. Not unlike this, actually, without people watching over the internet. And we were talking about that famous scene in another wonderful film. It's in French. It's called Amadeus, and it's about the life of Mozart, as I'm sure you know. And during that film, there's a scene where the actor playing the hero, in imitation of the master himself, plays the piano with his hands behind his back. And we were saying this is quite a cool little party piece. And then Ben just very coolly said,
"Yeah, I can do that."
It's actually a very good impression. Not that you'll ever know. He would not say boo to a goose. So part of our show is challenging Ben to rival Mozart. Nigel, roll that clip, brother.
So real.
It's pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
And he's got another trick, hasn't he? What's the other trick, Guy?
Well, you'll have to find that out next week.
A reward for the returning listeners, you're right. But thank you to Ben. I think he's somewhere down in Cornwall at the moment, so I have to Oh, hello, John. I have a question. What, if anything, is the most unusual music you've heard somebody singing playing during lockdown? My neighbour likes to clap for carers by playing the Star Wars theme on his saxophone badly. Wow, what an insult to the NHS. It's true, actually. The streets have been host to some extraordinary music making, many sort of pot and pan gamelan. But no, I hadn't heard any sax, certainly. Guy,
I'd say, it's not a particularly radical answer, but I was just shocked at how good the music was that I was listening to. It was this Memories by Maroon 5, which is obviously a pretty standard pop tune, not very radical, but it was sung by children who are like,
oh yeah, you sent that to me.
8 to 10 years old, and it's just like incredible performance. And you're just like shockingly good, like, and they're so young.
Very sweet, but just slightly concerned by the GDPR, if that's correct terminology, for like all these, video shots of children's bedrooms. Anyway, no, it was very beautifully sung, but I just some worrying implications. But John, that's a very good question. I'm trying to think of my answer.
Hello from Norfolk.
Hello, Britannia. I think some of those Italians singing from their balconies were rather wonderful. And I think there was a sax involved. I think somebody was playing. Actually, no, it's probably Gal Gadot singing Imagine.
I heard Chris Martin being played his own song by Jacob Collier. And there was this moment, actually links in with Amadeus, funnily enough, because basically Salieri, Amadeus, is like, he's not quite as good as Mozart, but pretty good. And so Chris Martin listens to Jacob playing his song, like, with this amazing harmony, and then just eventually just says, stop. He is, this is like the moment in the film Amadeus when Salieri just suddenly Mozart takes the song of Salieri from him, just I'll have a little play with your song, and then just does something incredible, and Salieri just looks just destroyed. So that was a pretty interesting piece of musical history.
Speaking of Chris, actually, I think Guy has now furnished me with a better answer to John's question, because Guy, you also sent me that clip of Chris, no Jacob Collier to fall back on, making the commendably brave offering, rather as we're doing.
Yeah.
Didn't he do like a live request show?
He did a live request show, but he couldn't actually sing
any of
the songs.
Nor hit
He
any
didn't remember the lyrics either.
So I think that's my answer. Lots of questions. So
we have one question. What was the most embarrassing thing you did at uni?
Yeah, Guy, can you do that one?
Yeah. Well, I actually have thought of a thing, because I've been trying to prepare an answer, and it's actually pretty embarrassing. So I turned up a bit late to the graduation ceremony briefing, and I was 5 minutes late, so I wasn't that late, but it obviously had a graduation dinner the night before, and a bit of a lad, so turned up 5 minutes late, and basically I was in the group of people that were getting their MAs, which is the thing you just get 6 years after you get your degree. But then I'd actually done a proper master's. So I was the MPhil, but I thought they're my friends, and so I stood in this position, and no one challenged me of where I stood. And so, but then it got to the actual place, the Senate House, where the ceremony was happening. It was in full flow, and then I suddenly realized I was in the wrong, and my hood was different to everyone else's, and the people my hood was light were quite far in advance. So I turned to the steward and I said, is this, am I in the right place? And he goes, yeah, of course you are. And then someone just in front of me, I knelt down, and I'm right in front of the chancellor of the university to receive my degree, and I kneel down, and they say Christopher Somerville, and I'm not Christopher Somerville, the person behind me. And so for the next 5 people, they were all called by the wrong name, and because it takes 5 before they reset. So I had like angry parents coming up to me saying I completely ruined them. My mum didn't even like notice that I'd even been graduated. So it's just a complete fail. Anyway.
All right. That's classic you, being sort of like having a domino effect on graduation, the ripple of error. Well, Colin, I owe you an answer as well. And the trouble is there is a story that I'm just so ashamed. I don't really want to share it on the internet. But I can tell you something very embarrassing that John did, which actually relates to what Guy just said. I know it wasn't quite what you asked for. So, Guy, never mind banjaxing a few graduands. John, while in a production of, I think it was an Ibsen play, maybe The Wild Duck, talk about disappointing proud parents. He managed to cut several characters from a performance of a play by muddling up his lines. And said actors' parents were in the audience. And it was an extremely short first half. So there we go. It gets better. It gets better. Alrighty.
Okay, so the questions. Your questions to each other.
Okay, Guy, question number 2. You play the flute.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you play the flute. It's no secret. He's a diploma standard flute player, as well as being a national standard ping pong player, as we learned last week.
Can I guess what you're going to ask me?
Yes.
What key is Mozart's flute concerto in?
No.
Okay.
Not what
Sorry,
Guy,
it's
nice try. He's very good at guessing very, very niche things, as I found with random number questions. Guy, your question is, how would you like to work the flute into Bounder and CAD? So that sounds
in a kind of Anchorman type kind of way, I think.
That is a point of reference, but
the thing is, I'd actually have to be good. If you listen to Anchorman, when Will Ferrell whips out his flute from his sleeve, he is actually really good. Whilst I am diploma level, but I'm not jazz. You know, jazz is something special.
Whole new level. Well, you could maybe use your classical learning.
Yeah, no? I could. I could play Mozart, for example.
Maybe the magic flute. How's that? Okay, good answer. The one I wanted. My turn.
Okay, mine's a pretty boring question, but it's got an interesting answer. What age did Mozart compose his first great mass?
6.
12, actually.
Oh, halfway there.
But,
that is pretty incredible, isn't it?
Right.
Wow, Mozart, you're the best.
Here we go. Give us some more questions, Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel, send in. Colin of the Beard, who's your most favourite actor?
I know this. Harry Styles. Harry Styles. Do you see him in Dunkirk?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I should know. It just seems so unreal that Harry Styles has been going from one direction to suddenly. Sorry?
I was going to say, sorry, the director, Nolan, claims that it wasn't a bit of stunt casting. He genuinely had no idea who this kid was. He just wanted to get some, new faces involved, which I find a little hard to believe.
Yeah, okay.
I think coming with Mick Jagger could have passed him by quite so long. Yeah, I suppose it was a good film. Meanwhile,
The Rock. I love The Rock. He's not really. He's not a musician. He's more of a wrestler, actor crossover.
Well, Guy, I'll have you know that he is the best paid actor in the world, I believe. Yeah. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, but you're right. Not really originally. He's an actor wrestler crossover. I mention him every week, but I'm going to say Justin Timberlake again because mainly because The Social Network is one of my favorite films, and he plays what was he called, the Napster guy? John, help me. And I just think JT is quite wonderful. But obviously, again, someone I mentioned a lot, Frank Sinatra won an Oscar and is one of the greatest entertainers of the last century. It's fair to say. But trying to think more recently. Again, I've said this before, but there's a wonderful series on BBC iPlayer at the moment called Dave, about a Jewish rapper from America. And he is a actor, musician, crossover performer, I'd say, if we're counting around. Colin says Hugh Jackman. Very good choice.
True. Oh yeah, didn't Adrian Lester do a the guy who's in Hustle? I remember from Hustle. He's quite a famous actor. He performed at the VE Day celebrations in front of Buckingham Palace. It was extraordinary. All these actors. Yeah, well, he does. Yeah, it was actually really quite good.
Which song? Can you remember?
I think it was something like No, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away.
They can't take that away from me. How lovely. I unfortunately missed that. What were we saying? Yeah, actor performance. Yeah. Is it time for another song? Because we're trying to keep this one short. Oh, hello, Amanda. Oh, lovely to have you back. Amanda is a friend of ours who was a Scottish nurse, and we're extremely grateful to her. And actually, Amanda, we did a song in your honour the other week, and you weren't here. Sorry, that sounded like a guilt trip, but we'll send you the text. It was our Scottish referendum song. sort of rap battle between Alex Salmond and David Cameron. It's a bit of an old one, but it's hanging around on YouTube if you want it. So, Guy, yes.
Talking of old songs.
Talking of what?
Old songs.
Yeah, you're right. So this next one, little preamble. It's a Russian folk song. And what's it about, Guy?
Well, we're obviously going through a crisis of coronavirus proportions, but a previous happening in our country was of a certain similar kind of crisis, something that could kill a lot of people. And apparently the response that we did at that time was amazing. Actually, we did all the things we should have done this time. So
what happened this time? Interesting.
Well, and apparently there's this TV series on at the moment about it, showing just how good they're dealing with the crisis of the a certain poisoning. Anyway, so am I setting up too kind of vaguely?
We also set it up in the video, which we forgot about. But ladies and gentlemen, you get to see us as Russians. Roll the clip, please, Nigel.
We make second TV appearance to prove what we said is true.
Every Russian, even highly decorated colonel, from young age dream to visit certain wonderful town.
To prove, here is all the Russian folk melody. I hear it calling out to me from far across the Baltic Sea.
For all true Russians long to be
In Salisbury, examine any bucket list of Russian sports nutritionist.
the one thing that cannot be missed
Is Salisbury.
So one weekend we tried to go, despite the cold, despite the snow.
We never have it in Moscow. To Salisbury, yes, weather was so very bad.
Like the siege of Leningrad, 1 single hour was all we had.
In Salisbury. And so we came back the next day to see cathedral and cafe.
But somehow managed lose our way.
In Salisbury, we asked for help from many people, maybe even Mr. Screeple, until we found the steeple of Salisbury.
So dark, 'cause never mind Stonehenge, for it is just a pile of rock.
We came to see cathedral and the oldest working clock.
We came for English Gothic, don't believe the Western media.
We saw tallest spire in England, duh, it says on Wikipedia. We return to Mother Russia, so much happier and wiser.
4-star general would give 4 stars on TripAdvisor.
To Salisbury.
What a macabre ending.
It's extraordinary.
Really, you know,
Whose idea was that? Yeah, well, it's good in a way.
it's not all light. Got to answer you. Anyway, Sky, my first question to you, in light,
Got
of,
that.
in light of the dark, how many t-shirts was I wearing underneath that sweater?
6.
I think it was about 11. That wasn't really my question. Your favorite cathedral and why?
So what?
What is your favorite cathedral?
Oh,
Right. Anywhere in the world.
right. Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I think it will be Chartres, but I've never been.
Good answer.
The reason why is because it's just got loads and loads and loads of green men in it, and I quite like green men, and I just like the idea of just foliage just bursting forth from the stone everywhere, and also the labyrinth that's built into the nave is the biggest in the world, and it's got its own name, which is called the Chartres Labyrinth, and it's a particular design.
For a labyrinth in Chartres.
Yeah, it's perfect design, and it's like that's the design. That's like the kind of gold standard labyrinth.
Yeah, onto very clear branding, whenever it was. Don't they also have a drink from there? Is that where Chartreuse comes from? So
Oh, very nice.
I think is a green liqueur, maybe made by the little green men. It all links up. Lovely. Thank you for that answer, guys. Do you have a question for me?
I do.
Let's have it.
Well, you can have a cathedral-related question first, and then a bit more that's more factual. Salisbury may have the oldest working clock, Where is the oldest clock face?
Ooh, tricky. Can you count sundials? Does that count as a sort of
No,
clock?
it's an interesting point. No, it's definitely for a clock. It's not a sundial.
I was going to say the pyramids, because aren't they supposed to have some sort of
That's a very good answer.
chronological-
No,
the right
it's-
one? What do you want?
it's Wells Cathedral has the oldest clock face, and it actually shows you the phase of the moon. And jousting knights knock each other off their perch every quarter of an hour. They go around on a kind of mechanical thing.
Oh,
every
in the IRL, I think it has some sort of reenactment going on.
no, it's just like
That'd be
but
great.
it sort of is. It is like IRA.
The early cuckoo clock, sort of coming in and out. But I asked problems.
Okay, so the more personal question is,
Okay, yes.
what's the worst TripAdvisor review you've ever given?
I don't go in for them, but my mother does in a big way. So again, I'm going to rather probably defer to another for my answer. Straight on to the question. Sally Ann Summers asks, can you wave at my 5-year-old? Her name is Mouse, and she doesn't believe this is live. Well, Mouse, shall we blow your mind? On the count of 3, guy. Yes! Hello, Mouse. This is all real. And there's your mama's question. So Mouse. What a lovely name. I like it. Oh, Britannia.
Oh, that's great. Well, I will definitely make use of that knowledge.
Britannia looks like she might know a few.
I have walked the labyrinth at Ely Cathedral, but I didn't know it was the same distance if you were to walk the height of the tower, and it's a very tall tower. So
An excellent design. Casey Sturm.
They are.
Ah, excellent. Yes, they are. Well, here we go. Yes, a bit of war, like a bit of war. Enough about church. I met the man that parachuted from the beach of Normandy 75 years later after he'd done the first time. Amazing man. Yes, one of my favorite things is meeting war veterans, because mainly there's just very few of them. Sort of World War II here being a bit preferential. I've been lucky enough to meet 3 Spitfire pilots and a very impressive lady who delivered Spitfires for something called the Air Transport Auxiliary, and there's the Atta Girls. And there was a brilliant documentary, I think it's still on iPlayer, called Spitfire Women. So I recommend watching that. But Amanda, tell us more about this veteran you met. Presumably he was involved in the D-Day landings, then, judging by that time scale. So I think I remember when we were good with the other year. I think there were a couple of guys who were at the D-Day landings, did that Spitfire.
Yeah.
And one of them also said yes, more on Spitfires. Thank you, John. Great segue there, Nigel. Thank you. It did take Tom Hardy a while in his mask. He is the nation's finest mask actor, because in his Spitfire, Dennis Bain, which required a lot of after dubbing because he was literally unintelligible. Okay. Have we neglected to look at any questions or? And you mentioned ukulele. Has that been flashed up, Nigel? Ukulele from Britannia.
Oh yes, it's just a bit up. You have to sort of. What song should you learn first from the ukulele? Adam's very good at the opening 2 bars of "I Want to Be Like You."
All you need. Yeah, 2 chords. Or actually another, so I keep talking about John, but I'm just very excited he's in the room. Here we go, Britannia. John and I had a friend the very spurious year we did at business school, and a friend of ours used to play Rihanna's Umbrella on the ukulele, which worked rather nicely. So yeah, I recommend either Umbrella or I Want to Be Like You.
I think go for something very recognizable so that people just they sing along with it, and then they forget about your ukulele playing almost straight away.
What are you suggesting about the ukulele?
Well, if she's learning, then she's already admitting that she's not at professional standard yet. But
all right,
I'm sure you'll be great, Britannia.
She will be. We're going to try and keep this one a little shorter because I think Nigel, as ever, has a very busy schedule to return to. So, is it time to introduce our final piece, Guy? Actually, maybe wait.
Once the song rolls, that's it.
That's true. We finish on the song. I think it's about 3.5 minutes. Oh, John, Adam could say you were the spit.
Yeah.
All right, John, thank you. You've given us a few extra minutes to riff. John is right. When I'm not performing with Guy, I do a little bit of straight acting, as opposed to this. We'll have to infer what the opposite of that is. But yes, I did indeed play a Canadian Spitfire pilot called George Burling.
Adam does look exactly like him. I mean, it's real. John is right.
The only reason I got the part because I do look very oddly like him. So everyone look up George Burling, and the documentary was called Heroes of the Skies. It's probably somewhere on Channel 4.
Adam perfects the art of eyebrow acting He had to express about 45 emotions with just a pair of eyebrows, which is rather.
I did a lot of work on this. So if I see a Manchester notice, that. If I see a Heinkel bomber, it's that. And if I'm about to die, which I didn't do, it's that. And the Bath Chronicle said I was a rising star. Is that right, Guy? And your mother very sweetly saved that clipping for me. That is about as it gets, really.
And there's the kazoo is a much maligned instrument.
And yet again, one we've played. Guy, will you share the story of our kazoo at Clifton? That was quite good.
Oh, yes. Adam, we started playing the bit in the. It says "Wanna Be Like You" as well, isn't it? It's the "Wanna Be Like You."
Yeah, actually, another Louis Prima, who sang the King of the Swingers for the Jungle Book.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's
yeah. But the concept is very like a cheerful song.
But during Adam, we practiced our little duet, and but I was getting it wrong or something, and Adam was. I mean, whether I was getting it wrong is debatable.
I didn't even well. I think I was just trying to communicate something while we were both playing kazoo.
Yeah, Adam was just, and he was looking at me really angrily, and I thought, what's going on? He's really angry, but he was just trying to actually do something whilst playing kazoo. It didn't work, and so I think what happened? Did we go off sort of?
Very almost normal people. This kazoo moment, believe it or not, was very like that in the sense it was a breakdown of communication. Because I was trying to tell Guy, come closer to my microphone, because I think yours wasn't working, so we can hear your kazoo. I was giving him very big eye acting. I was sort of playing kazoo.
That's what it was.
You thought I was saying, like, back off, this is my moment, when it couldn't have been further from the truth, guys. I was saying, come into my mic, let's hear your kazoo.
But because I didn't understand it, just Adam got like more and more like really trying to do it, but it just looked like he was getting really cross with me, even though he weren't actually cross.
In the eyes. But yes, the kazoo is much maligned and can cause a lot of communication problems. Watch out.
Now, one of the comments that's come up is that Amanda saw Adam as Caligula the other day.
Oh, really?
Now, this might mean that did Amanda come to Boundary CAD through your performance of Caligula, which would be great.
I hate to split hairs, it was Nero, but I'm glad I evoked the menace, because Caligula was in fact played by Peter O'Toole in that film that became a porno without anyone realizing. It's an amazing story. I think it was sometime in the senior days of the 70s, because I think all these very respected actors, including O'Toole, appropriate name for a porno, though it was, performed in what they thought was like a very prestigious sword and sandals epic. And then I think in a wonderful way, the producers thought, nah, we gotta, let's sex this up like they did with that dossier in the Iraq War. And they literally spliced in pornographic scenes. And the resulting film is an eye-opener. And needless to say, I saw it when I was about 11. And I ended up studying classics, make of that what you will. But Amanda, thank you very much for tuning in to watch. This was indeed my other docudrama appearance, playing Emperor Nero on a series.
Terrifying when you're poisoning someone and you sort of look really happy about it. It's just,
But meanwhile, I'm feeling all bashful because we're talking about my TV career. Guy, meanwhile, has got his kit off on national TV, haven't you? Leaping into streams.
I did an auto baptism in a river in Norfolk, actually, Britannia. And they asked me, what does it feel like? And I just gave some very earnest answer about feeling present because of how cold it was. But those, I have to say, I'd feel less comfortable about getting my kid off now. I was very, very happy to do it then, but
luckily that's not part of the show tonight, guys, as far as I'm aware. But it's possible. Britannia mentions the slide whistle, another classic. We've never used this. We've used all the maligned instruments. We've used the ukulele, we've used the kazoo. Slide whistle. Is that the same as a slide?
Because a slide whistle is particularly clowny, isn't it? It's like.
Thank you, Sally Ann.
Thanks, Sally Ann. Yeah, that's.
Mouse with 5 guys. We can only.
She might not know who Adam is. She might be meaning me, of course. So.
Yeah, exactly. You do have the prettier voice.
Adam does have a very nice broadcasting voice. I have to. Get him close to a mic and.
Yeah, very kind of you. Not only just. Sorry, I need to.
I'm here to puff him up. I'm his hype man.
So, Amanda, thank you very much for watching Channel 5, because that's the only place you'll find me, other than on the JokePit, thanks to Nigel. Speaking of which, we have spoken for far longer than we intended, and it's time for a big finish. Guy, how would you describe this final number? Because it definitely needs a bit of an intro.
Well, it's born of our love of classical music and our knowledge of some of the names and the titles of songs.
Correct.
I think that's what I'm going to say, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you're all familiar with. Well, I think that just to name check it, there's a piece by Amy Craddock's asking you to get his kid off, but maybe we'll do a different show another time. Sally Ann, this is very kind to me.
I did actually get my kid off earlier today, and I went and danced in the rain because it was very heavy rain. I just thought, let's dance outside in the rain. So I did do it, but I was not for.
The community is cheering up Amy, and meanwhile, a 7-year-old likes my voice.
Like what the director said to Peter and Paul. You're very late, Diana. It's almost over.
There's always catch up, but lovely to see you again. Diana, in from Wales. This final song is Bowner and Cad's take on Bach's masterpiece, Air on a G string. Let's be having you, Nigel.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.
In case, we've really enjoyed being here, and see you next week.
Thank you. Thank you to your children. Bring on the rain dance, says Britannia. I agree.
All right.
Bye.
I like girls in underwear, but not that thing that's made of string or flimsy lace, but pants with actual space, no less than M and S. 'Cause that's what girls prefer, I'm sure, not trash that makes you sore. But mate, do you have thoughts regarding girls in underwear?
Nothing's better than a G-string. On the G, is it wrong to have a thing about a thong? What a bore, don't you know the first rule of elegance? Less is more.
Well, now you've got me thinking. One could say that lingerie could tempt a prude to feeling lewd, and not averse to, say, a sexy nurse. I'm swayed, bonjour, French maid. All right, I like a foxy waif in sassy pants that chafe. Oh yes, it bears repeating. I like skimpy underwear.
Oh, those cheeks that you're revealing. Dare to wear those knickers, don't resist. And don't you get them in a twist. But it's safe, though I gotta say, on a busy day, mine could chafe. Yes, I'm wearing a thong.
To tell
How
us
else
I don't
could
want
I sing
to
so
know.
high?
No way,
Go and
that's
try to say
really
farewell
gay,
to
'cause why
VPL
would any
and colour match
I
the garter
have
on your
to
thigh.
go? You perv, you've quite a
Tied you
nerve.
up of
I
the
don't
dog.
deserve
On
to
a dangle, don't
hear
smother
this
the
go. I
budgie.
wonder
Still,
what a plus
some may
it is to
vouch
trust
for
it
a
with
silk
your gusset.
posing
Fine.
pouch.
Oh yes, I must
Then
confess
so
to
much for
smaller
wedgies.
smalls.
It'll
Betwixt the
soothe
balls,
your meat
it's
and
such a
veggies,
treat
but
to
dress
trim
your
the
tush
sheet.
in
Cause
twain.
loss
For the
brings
fact
gain.
is that
It's
real men
bliss
take
beyond
pleasure
the
in pain.
Cheese, why cleaving your cleft, while cool breezes blow so balmy. Oh, what a way to fill the crack and tie the sack, and air dry and string the salami. Cutting right and left, go on, Julian, those gentlemen's vegetables. Run it across, yeah, it's genital floss, yeah, it's genital floss. Ooh, now you're agreeing, something tight can be so freeing. 'Cause never mind the bants, social constructs of gender are total pants. And cut. Let's get out of these things.